Hey guys, it's Amanda. I'm in Gainesville, Florida. Let's go exploring. The cattail. I actually think it kind of looks like a cat's tail. Some people describe it as a sausage-like appearance when it turns brown, as this one is here. This one is a bit past its prime for eating. However, this part of the plant is one of my favorite fire tenders. If you gently scrape up the brown parts, it has this amazing fuzzy appearance that just expands and expands and expands parts. This part of the plant is super fluffy and fuzzy. It can be used for fire tinder. It could be used to stuff anything, to make pillows, blankets. It's got a great insulating property to it. The taller leaves here, that can be used for basket weaving, making mats to sleep on, and anything else that your imagination can come up with. Hats, clothing, dresses. And if we are to pull up one of the roots of this plant in the springtime, which is not now, they have these shoots that are edible. Peel away any extra leaves, and you have this amazing starchy vegetable, almost like a cucumber. I didn't quite get the roots with that one. Let's try another. I may have to try a larger one. There we go. See this little bud here? This is a super starchy part of the plant. It can be crushed. Oh, there's a big one. It can be crushed and put in water and drained, and this leaves only the starches. This could be added to soups or stews or anything that you need to possibly thicken up. You can also eat them just as they are. I prefer to cook them. And since it is fall here in Gainesville, Florida, most of the tops of the cattails have turned into this tinder-like material. However, in the springtime, they will form green shoots that come up and look basically like tiny little corn cobs. Those can actually be eaten raw or cooked as well and taste very similar to corn. As we continue on, there is a cabbage palm. This tree also has many uses. The leaves are broad and have long leaves that can be used for shelter making. Pieces of the bark here can be used to make a bow drill. Just be careful. There are scorpions that live sometimes in this tinder. This fluffy stuff here behind these palms, if you start to break up this material here, almost like the top of the cattail, this makes a great fire starter as well. Also, the cabbage palm leaves can be used to make cordage. As we continue on our walk, I am seeing more and more things that can be used for tinder, shelter, etc. I am in a neighborhood right now, so I'm not actually going to do a whole lot of cutting down. But this is Spanish moss. This can also be used for tinder. However, I would be careful with carrying a ton of it. It does tend to carry chiggers, which can make you very itchy. This plant right here is one of the agave plants. Agave, if you have heard, has been used to make tequila, syrups, and other sorts of things. One of the biggest uses that I like to use it for is for cordage. However, I would be careful when cutting it. The fluids inside of the plant can actually make your hands or any part of your skin very itchy and irritated. So it's best to just go ahead, slice a piece off, slice the thorns off, and then either cook it, boil it, etc. until you get those little fibers. Be careful, they are thorny. Another really cool thing about the agave plant is that they have super sharp tips here. You could actually create a needle and thread with this. I'm actually going to try and show you on one of these smaller agave plants here, such as this middle one that just poked me in the finger, and also has a very thin and sharp tip. How you could possibly use this as needle and thread. Let's see if I can hold this. But here would be the needle. I would strip everything else off, and there you would have the thread. If you're out in the wild and you see any type of vines, these can also be used to make cordage. The ones that I like to find that work the best are the ones that are already on the trees. If you can find a medium thickness, that's great. This one is clearly dead because it breaks easy. Don't want that. As you can see, these green vines here, I don't know if you can really see it, but these actually have little tiny thorns on them. You can use them, but you would want to cut the thorns off first. I find these a bit harder to deal with than I do the ones that are already on the trees here that are brown. They're still very stretchy, and you can literally just pull them off of the tree. These can be used to make baskets, tie your shelter together, anything you want to tie. As long as it's pretty flexible, you should be able to use that for cordage, making baskets, making a fish trap, and other things. The last plant I'm going to show you is right in my backyard. This is the elephant ear plant. And my children actually took a butter knife and tried to chop it down the other day. One there, one there. I think that one was already falling off. However, they didn't know that the elephant ear plant has a calcium oxalate crystal inside of the juices inside. It can cause intense itching and burning, and that's what happened to them. their hands were covered in this stuff. They were itching and burning, so we had to wash their hands a couple of times with soap and water, and then we applied some ice packs and then hydrocortisone cream. It did eventually go away, so know your plants before you touch them, or definitely before you cut them open, and definitely before you eat them. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you soon on some more survival tips and tricks around Gainesville, Florida.